Hey, aloha everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us for Fierce Fridays. This is something that I'm really proud to be able to be a part of and represent along with Jody Parker. We're both really passionate moms about just providing our families with better health, which I assume that's why the rest of you are all here too. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Naiva Flory. I've been in Purium for about 5.5 years. I am currently a Blue Diamond with Purium. And I live in Kauai. I started when I was postpartum with my son and was able to share this mission with other moms and not only help people to start learning about their own health, their gut health and cleansing, but also it has allowed me to be a stay-at-home mom over the past 5.5 years, which is a huge amazing like dream come true for me because I've always been independent and wanting to support myself in this kind of way. So I'm just really honored that all of you are on this mission with us. And thank you for coming and sharing your voice here today. What we're here to share is about the issues with our food, because many of us know that glyphosate is in most of our food supply and it's not good for our gut. It really deteriorates our gut. And living in Hawaii, it's actually the ground place for where GMOs are, the hybrid seeds are actually grown here. So I'm just curious real quick, how many of you have seen Poisoning Paradise? Just drop me maybe a 3 in the comments if you've seen it. Well, Poisoning Paradise is based in Hawaii. It's an amazing documentary that was actually produced by Pierce Brosnan and his wife, Keely Brosnan. And they live here in Kauai. They're also really passionate about this subject. And it talks all about how glyphosate is used on the west side of this island and on many of our other islands to help produce GMO seed, which takes 7 generations of growing and harvesting to create that GMO seed that they then send out to Nebraska and all over the Midwest to grow crops of corn. So the reason I bring this up today is because I would love to encourage you all. It's free right now on Amazon Prime. So as a little homework project this weekend, if you need something to watch, please go watch Poisoning Paradise. We tried to ban it here in the Hawaiian Islands because the poison obviously is deteriorating our soil. It's going into our water supply. It's actually going and killing a lot of our reefs and our fish, and the corals where the fish live. And so it's causing bigger and bigger issues here in the Hawaiian Islands, which many of you may not even know that. We are so affected out here in Paradise by glyphosate and the GMO crops and the Roundup that they use to spray on there. They actually use Hawaii as a testing ground for a lot of their poisons because we are an island in the middle of the ocean and because we're so far away from everybody else. And so it's really sad that they do that here. And so Poisoning Paradise, basically, you'll get to see many of the people that I work with that were at the forefront of trying to make it illegal here in Hawaii. I actually thought that we had banned it here in Hawaii until I watched the movie and found out at the very end that they actually vetoed it. It went all the way to Congress, to Washington, D.C., and they still threw it out. And so we still have glyphosate being sprayed on the west side in Hawaiian homelands, where Hawaiians live in that area. That's where the lowest rent is. And many of them are actually getting sick, having babies with issues, and so on and so forth. Many of them are also very indoctrinated in the fact that they're growing food to support their families. It's their job. And so when we had the protest, many of them were actually on the side of Monsanto because they didn't know better. They actually felt like we were trying to take their jobs away by banning Monsanto in Hawaii. And so they have them so brainwashed that they don't even realize that they're poisoning themselves and their families on the west side of this island, on Maui, on Oahu, and on the Big Island. So I have to share that because this is where I live. It's part of my passion and part of why I am so proud to be part of Fierce Fridays and share this information with you, because most people don't know this. So if you want to learn more about that, please go watch the free Poisoning Paradise. It's on Amazon Prime. And so I wanted to check in today, and that's just a bit of my heart coming out first thing, because I just can't help but share. But I'm really just honored to be a part of the Million Mom movement and help educate more families of what the issue is with our food. Right now, our campaign is to help get glyphosate out of Cheerios, because we realize that Cheerios has the most parts per billion of glyphosate, and it's what's most widely used for parents and children across America and probably in the world. It's the easiest, finger food for babies. I actually used to give it to my babies before I knew better. So I'm just curious. I'm pretty sure probably every one of us have had Cheerios at some point in our life, right? Drop me a 4 if you've had Cheerios at some point in our life, because I think we all have this one thing in common, that we've probably eaten something somewhere that had glyphosate in it. For myself, I tell people, even though I eat mostly organic, I still eat out sometimes. I still get a coffee sometimes. There's still ways that I come in contact with this poison, even though I do my very best to try to not have it in my life. So I'm just gonna look at the agenda real quick. And so what we're doing is we're collecting email addresses. If you haven't yet given us our email address, you can drop it in the comments so that we can get that to Rachel. She'll send you an email of our template that we've created. And that template will help you get started with also emailing General Mills. That's our first campaign, is mailing, emailing, calling General Mills, following them on Instagram and Facebook, commenting on their posts in an educational way, and just helping to share this mission with more moms. So we do encourage you, every time when you come back, please invite a couple moms to join us here. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back over to Jody, because she's so awesome at sharing more about glyphosate and our solution for glyphosate, as well as an amazing video that our team has made that you can also share with your friends and family that wanna learn more. So giving it back to you, Jody.
Thank you, Naeva. I appreciate that. So if you got on a little bit later before we started recording, my name is Jody Parker, and I too, I'm gonna mute you, Naeva. You've got a rooster. Did you guys know, like with Moana and the rooster that she has following her all over? We went to Kauai last summer and I didn't realize it was a thing. There are roosters all over Kauai, but I digress. So anyway, my name is Jody Parker, and I am a Green Diamond here at Purium and also on the Million Mom Movement Council. And I am, like Naeva and like the rest of you, extremely passionate about not eating poison, which seems ridiculous, right? That I even have to say that. But with 80% of our food supply having glyphosate in it, and it might be higher because it drifts on the wind and it gets into the groundwater and it's in the air, things are getting contaminated, and it's really, really bad for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a very brief 1-minute video that sort of gives you an overview. I will explain why glyphosate is so bad with you, and I want to tie with you, for you, and I want to tie it into the current crisis that we're seeing right now all over the world, this COVID-19, because there are some very smart scientists out there who believe that glyphosate is making the virus worse. So let me start by sharing my screen. Let's hope that this works, because like I said in the beginning, I'm not always very good at technology. Open system parameters. It is not letting me share my screen. Let's see, wait, here, look, it might now. Oh, it won't let me record it. Naeva, do you think you can bring it up? You know what, it's not that big of a deal. It's a 1-minute video, and rather than getting caught up in the, because it wants me to quit before I can share it. So instead of getting caught up in this 1-minute video, I'm just going to tell you what it says. I'm not nearly as fun to watch as the video because I don't have pretty pictures behind me. I can put a pretty picture behind me. But let's just explain it. So glyphosate is the active ingredient in what we know of as Roundup, the thing that you spray on your weeds in your lawn. Well, we don't spray them. So let's give you a hint. Boiling water will kill your weeds and won't hurt anything. So if you have really stubborn weeds that you want to get rid of and you can't pull them, I mean, 'cause obviously pulling them is a really great way to get rid of them too. But if there are too many of them or you can't get that root out, boiling water will kill it. And then you're not poisoning anything. So there's a hint for you. That's what I do in the cracks of my driveway on my house. But that active ingredient, glyphosate, is what is killing the plants. And most people don't know the history of glyphosate, and it's horrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. So there's a couple patents on glyphosate, the first of which was to be used as a mineral chelator to clean industrial pipes. What does that mean? You ever heard of like the lime away, like to get rid of the buildup on your shower head of like calcium deposits? A chelator is something that will take that away because it binds the minerals so that they can be flushed away. So glyphosate was originally used to clean industrial pipes in huge manufacturing facilities that have buildup inside the pipes. That's what glyphosate was used for. And that's what we're eating. So I think about that. So what it does is it would bind those minerals. So same thing, when we spray it on our food, it binds the minerals in the soil. So now our food is nutrient deficient. It gets taken up into the plant when you spray it. So now you can't wash it off of what you're eating. And when you eat it, now you have glyphosate in your body, and it's going to bind whatever minerals that you ate or that the plant did manage to absorb so that you can't absorb it into your body. So even if you're eating really healthy, if you're eating really healthy with glyphosate included, you're not eating really healthy because you can't absorb what you're eating. So next step, glyphosate is also patented as an antibiotic. And most people are aware that after antibiotics, you should eat your yogurt, you should, fix your gut microbiome, take those good probiotics. But if you're eating, the standard American diet is saturated in glyphosate. So basically we're all eating, unless you're eating organic, antibiotics with every meal. Think about what that is going to do. So it's completely destroying all the good bacteria in your gut. Well, now we know that that good bacteria in our gut is absolutely essential to our immune system. 70% of our immune function is in the gut and related to those probiotics. So now we've completely wiped out the good bacteria in the gut. Bad things in the gut can start growing, things like candida, also known as yeast, and other microbials that are really bad for us. And it starts to eat away at the lining of the small intestine. And so if you imagine, if you can toss your head back to biology way back when you're looking at your small intestine, you have something called villi in them. They're like hair-like projections that come out from your small intestine. And it increases surface area for your food to be absorbed. Well, what happens is this good bacteria dies away, that those villi get attacked and they start to die and they start to separate. So instead of being really tight like this and being able to absorb like that, they separate and they die, and you end up in between with microscopic holes in your gut lining. And that is what is called leaky gut. And leaky gut means that full food proteins can get into your blood supply. Well, your immune system is designed to attack full proteins, and it doesn't know the difference between, let's say, a gluten protein that comes from wheat, or a virus or a bacteria that has gotten into your blood supply. So now your body is attacking those full proteins, and suddenly everybody you know is gluten sensitive, and it's because of leaky gut. And so how does this apply to the current crisis that we're dealing with right now? Well, in a couple of ways. First of all, you now understand we've destroyed the gut microbiome, which means we've more or less destroyed our immunity, because that is such a huge chunk of our body being able to fight off whatever it's exposed to. But on top of that, Dr. Stephanie Seneff is one of the lead researchers on glyphosate at least in this country. She's an MIT researcher, and she's been talking about glyphosate for a really long time. And she is now saying that what she believes is happening, and this is theory at this point, but it's a pretty good theory to go with, They are using biofuels more and more in airports and for cars. And biofuels are made from genetically modified corn and soy. And genetically modified corn and soy is sprayed with glyphosate. So they make these fuels. They then, we combust those fuels in our cars and in our airplanes. And now we have glyphosate in the air and we're breathing it. And she pointed out, it was about a week ago, that the hot spots that we see around the country are surrounded by water and rivers where the runoff from the glyphosate is coming and getting into the air. They're really close to airports that are using biofuels. They're really close to major metropolitan areas where cars are putting that into the air. And that's where we're seeing the hot spots in the country, is where glyphosate exposure is going to be higher, not just from the food, but from the environment that the people are living in. And so what's the solution? First of all, eat organic. Do everything you can to filter your water, if you live in an area like that where you're concerned about the air, get air purifiers for your home. Like, as much as you can, limit your exposure as much as you can, but obviously you can't limit it altogether. And so Purium has a product called Biomedic. It is Gold Star certified by the Detox Project as the only product on the market proven to detox glyphosate out of the body. But at the same time it's detoxing glyphosate, it's going to help you detox heavy metals. It's going to help you detox pretty much anything bad for you. And it's going to lower inflammation in your body as measured by C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is like when you go to the doctor, to the cardiologist, and they're measuring your risk for cardiac illnesses. C-reactive protein is what they measure. So a high level of C-reactive protein is correlated with heart disease and other things like that. And so you want your C-reactive protein to come down. And the other thing that Biomedic does that all these other products, fulvic acid, humic acid, things like that, that people are taking to help them detox, will help you detox those things. But what it doesn't do is help to heal leaky gut. Biomedic has an ingredient in it that is patented that literally helps to become the basis for your microbiome so that that good bacteria can regrow, it can repopulate, and that protects your villi. The villi heals, leaky gut goes away. So if you take Biomedic for 6 weeks, you see a 74% reduction in glyphosate in the body, you see a 75% reduction in C-reactive protein, and you see a 35% reduction in what we call gut permeability or leaky gut. So it's a really, really cool product. So we're going to go back and I'm going to encompass everything because we've got 5 minutes left on this call. To sum up, if you're new to this whole process with the Million Mom Movement and Fierce Fridays and going after General Mills to get the glyphosate out of the body, make sure we've got your email in the chat, and we will make sure that we send you an email with the, boy, my brain is not working, with the template that we've created that you can send in via snail mail, via email, get on Instagram and Facebook and pages and other social media, and go to General Mills and start bugging them and start, being a pain and commenting on their posts and why are you allowing glyphosate to be in our food? And they've agreed that they'll take it out by 2025. That's 5 years. So we're going to poison the 0 to 5-year-olds for the next 5 years with this product that every child eats. That's not okay. And that shouldn't be okay with anybody. So go ahead and get with that program. If you need to learn more about Biomedic, let us know. I have YouTube videos that I've done like a big training on these things. There's Stephanie Seneff is a great person to follow. Dr. Zach Bush is a great person to follow. Jeffrey Smith is a great person to follow to get more information on GMOs and glyphosate and what it's doing to our environment. And most of you are familiar with Biomedic, but now I hope you have a better understanding of how it works. For those of you who are new to the call, if you need information about biomedic and how it helps heal, go to the person who invited you to this call, and they will make sure you have all that information. And if that person who invited you to this call, if you're on this call and you don't feel like you know very well, please reach out to the Million Mom Movement, and we will make sure that you have what you need. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Million Mom Movement. There's also a Million Mom Movement official group on Facebook, a private group that you're welcome to come join. Go to the website, millionmommovement.info, and take the pledge to help us get the word out here. This is a grassroots effort. We are the mama bears, and we're not going to take it anymore. I'm sorry, but stop poisoning my children. I'm not okay with that. And I'm not okay with a virus that has shut down the entire world, that is being made worse because we're being poisoned. That's not okay. It shouldn't be okay with anybody. And most people, the average person, has no idea. And so I believe that once we know and we have this knowledge, it is imperative that we are the ones that go out there and share this information and let people know not only that there's a problem, but there's a solution to the problem. Because I believe that as we get educated, knowledge is power, and we can stand up for ourselves and we can share with the people around us. And very literally, that's how we change the world. So I really appreciate all of you being here today. We are at the half-hour mark, and we've promised to keep this meeting to 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up and stop the recording. But if you have questions, you can stay on the line and we're happy to answer them. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So thank you all for joining us today.